I was curious if I looked as tired as I feel. But this week is going to be an active one on the channel, boys. We've got Fort Worth, obviously, starting on a Friday. And I postponed my breakdowns of the groups, I should say, until we actually have Roster Mania finished. I did do Group A with Gen G in there, obviously, but they've now made a change. So take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not going to go over it again. I think I'll quickly cover the fact that I think it does maybe affect Gen G's chances in that first group. I mean, I went on to say that I think they'll win all their games and finish top of their pool, but going up against Heretics now with not really a lot of time to integrate Envoy into their roster, I think that, you know, things could change. Of course, UIU have changed things up as well. So it's interesting to see what happens in that pool now, but I do believe Heretics might take that top spot. So quickly to cover that, but we are going to be talking about Group B today, and we'll get the document up as per usual. And this is it's actually not a bad group, to be honest with you. Pool B looking pretty nice, and I think that it's the same sort of story as we did actually see in the in Pool A, whereas the top two are probably quite far, I don't want to say quite far ahead, but definitely ahead of the bottom two, I would say. And there's a bit of a split down the middle. But in terms of who will actually finish top and who will finish third, I think that's really the battle for this one. Again, very, very similar to Pool A. You know, some changes have come in for some of these teams. Of course, E6 and EG both making changes. And we have, of course, now seen Chino go on to E6 with Cade going out. And Vicento obviously retiring. And we've seen Attach coming in as an SMG for this team, potentially as Flex, maybe fellow go maybe something like that. But I don't know. I just think realistically, just to quickly cover the changes, if you didn't catch my Roster Mania video, which will be down below or to the side somewhere, I think that realistically, I don't think these changes make a big deal of difference for either one of these teams. I think they should maybe improve them just a little bit, but I don't think there's much in it, to be honest with you. But now let's get into the games. We are going to talk about E6 versus EG first. Now, this is absolutely the matchup for third. I think, you know, you look in terms of straight game modes, Hardpoint is fairly similar for them both there. Thanks to codstats.gg, really been helping me make these videos to try and predict where things are going to go. Hardpoint's really close. E6 are 6 and 6, EG are 6 and 5. So ultimately, the best game mode for EG, because the rest of their game modes at the moment, irrelevant of the change coming in, not looking great. But both of them are nearly as bad as S&D as each other. Just looking at the S&D, sorry, I've still got it up here. Enigma 6 are 2 and 7 in S&D, and of course EG are 0 and 8. So not necessarily the best S&D you'll probably see all week, but realistically, I think it comes down to the control. You know, Hardpoint's close, S&D probably be close as well. The control though, both teams, I mean, realistically, Enigma 6 are 4 and 3 in that. And then on the other side of things, EG 1 and 6. So that is probably where the game is going to be won or lost. I'd imagine it's going to go towards E6. In terms of matchups between the players, I'd say I prefer the ERs on E6 at the moment. They have brought in Chino, which will help them. But I think, you know, Frosty, I presume he's moving to Flex now. I think he could be an interesting player in this matchup. And I think it comes down to if he can play well, then E6 should probably win this one. I'm going to go with 3-1 to E6. I think EG's problems, especially in S&D, aren't necessarily fixed by bringing Attach in. Attach is a good player, but these guys have core problems, and I don't think one change is what they needed. I think they needed potentially a couple. As I said, I really wanted to see Ferro, sorry, not Ferro. Yeah, Ferro. I really want to see Ferro get shot. I always get confused. Ferro, fellow. It isn't one letter difference. But I really wanted to see Ferro get a shot on this roster, and I think he could have made potentially the change. But realistically, I think E6 will take this one 3-1, which I feel will probably cement EG at the bottom. I don't see them beating Red or 100T, but we are going to go into those ones. Let's talk about Red versus EG. Now, last time these two played, Red did take it fairly comfortably, so I fully expect them to probably do the same. As said, I think Attach will ultimately probably change the squad, maybe just a little bit, but the thing is with these changes before Fort Worth, we're only seeing them a week before. Roster Mania just stopped the other day, and some of these teams won't have that much time to practice with each other. Yeah, okay, they've probably been practicing before the whole so-called roster announcements, etc., but I just think that it's far too soon for some of these teams to be making drastic changes to their rosters. That's probably why we're only seeing one come in, but even with that one change only coming in, there's not that much time to really change things up. So realistically, I'm expecting Red to take this one comfortably 3-1, possibly even 3-0, the same as what we seen last time to beat EG 3-0. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, e.g. the fact that Attach may have just slightly improved this roster, and I'm going to give it 3-1 to Red. Let's talk about Red against E6. I mean, this is probably the game for second place. I think it should be an okay one, but I think if you look at game mode statistics, then Hardpoint is relatively close, but S&D and Control is absolutely in Red's favor. In terms of the game matchups, I'm really interested to see the SMG matchup with Diabolic and Zero, to be honest with you. You know, Diabolic definitely, well, in terms of pure stats, is clearly the biggest slayer on E6, but Zero has been really good recently. I think very much a consistent gameplay from him on a consistent basis is what you want to see, and he keeps doing it. He doesn't really have many bad games, does Zero, but looking at ARs and maybe flex roll for Frosty is something that E6 can look at to potentially pierce the defense of Red Reserve, if you like. But ultimately, I think Red edged them on a few different levels here, and this should be a comfortable win. I think I'm going to say 3-1 Red. I think they could lose one of the hard points, but realistically, S&D and Control should really be fully comfortable for them, and then they'll get their pick on hard point, which I think they'll win. Right, okay, let's move into 100T. Let's talk about all of their games. 100T versus EG. Changes coming in for EG, as said, but I just think AR-wise, you forgive them if they lose that battle, obviously going up against Octane and Slasher. But, you know, I think one thing you could potentially give to them is the fact that Attach will probably know Priestess game fairly well. So the SMG matchup might actually be okay, but as I said, the AR one, I fully give it over to 100 Thieves. I just think, you know, I've hopped on about this quite a lot already, but I just think one player change doesn't fix the fact that they're 0 and 8 in S&D. And I just think Hardpoint, 100 Thieves. You think Control, absolutely 100 Thieves. I think this is 3-0 to them. I honestly do believe 100 Thieves are going to come in really hot as well. You know, they look good towards the end of the group. They seem to be getting better with every single game. And going up against a team like EG, the way that EG are playing right now, this is easily a 3-0 to me. Honestly, I think that 100 Thieves are probably the best team in this group. We're going to talk about the Red matchup in a second. Let's talk about 100 Thieves against E6. Now, I said E6's change came in, but again, I just don't think it helps them against a team like 100 Thieves. Everything for EG has been bad outside the hard point, and you'd argue 100 Thieves' best game mode is their hard point. So realistically, they win their best game mode. They win the rest of the game modes because EG have just been poor at them. This is one thing as well I want to touch on. You know, so you see some of these players coming in who haven't been playing in the Pro League, etc. So your Attach, your Chinos, etc. They haven't been playing in the Pro League, and I think that really does actually hurt them quite a lot. You know, you haven't been playing at a very, very high level for a few weeks, whereas everybody else has. So you're going to be going up against teams who have had that consistent LAN practice at a high level, and you're coming in from playing online in like 2Ks and stuff. So I just think that they're going to struggle at first, especially on LAN, going up against these really good teams. And then, yeah, okay, maybe as the tournament goes on, they keep getting better, they get more practice in, but groups-wise, I just think E6 and EG are going to really struggle against Red and 100T. Now, let's talk about 100 Thieves against Red Reserve. Now, this is the big game of the group. This is the one everyone will be wanting to see. I'm sure it'll be an alpha one, and it could be a cracker, to be honest with you. I think, you know, Priester has been great ever since he moved over towards this 100 Thieves team from FaZe, and it could come down to his battle against Scraps and Zero and seeing how he does there. I'm looking for Joe to have a good game for Red Reserve, and if he does, you know, this could be a stupidly close one. You look at the AR battle, and you would say 100 Thieves just about edge it, but for me, in terms of the SMGs overall, yes, okay, you'd give Priester the benefit of the doubt against any of these SMGs, but I think if you look at Zero, if you look at Scraps, and then potentially Joe flexing in that role, of course, we've seen him using the Maddox quite a lot. I think ultimately I'd give the SMGs to Red Reserve. I'd give the S&D to Red Reserve as well, but I'd also give the hardpoint over at 100 Thieves. They're 8-2 currently on hardpoint, which is a great record to have. But in terms of the control, I think that's where it's going to be decided. Both teams are 5-2 on control right now throughout the Pro League. Nobody's made any changes. You would expect it to be a similar sort of team to what we've seen in the Pro League from both of these guys. I think, as I said, I would give Red the S&D, but I don't think it's as clear-cut as you would possibly like, and they do have the potential to lose that. We did see Red Reserve not have a good time on S&D, full stop, at the Pro League qualifier, and have got a little bit better at it, whereas 100 Thieves also struggled on that as well. So their hardpoint is much better, 100 Thieves. Their S&D, not much better. That control is what it comes down to, though. I think whoever takes the control takes the series. I think 100 Thieves take the first map. I think Red take the second. I'm going to give 100 Thieves the edge and give them the control, ultimately, which would give them the hard point as well. I think if it does go last map, I would just about lean towards Red, but it comes down to the control. Whoever wins the control in this one, I think will win the series and will top the group with a 3-0 record. I just don't think that anybody, I don't think E6 and EG can challenge Red or 100 Thieves at this point. As said, I'm going to go with 100 Thieves at the top of the group over Red, who will finish in second, E6 third, and EG in fourth. Just to run through the results, I'll let you guys know just a recap of who I think is going to win each game. So I think E6 will win against EG 3-1. I think Red will beat EG 3-1. I think Red will beat E6 3-1. I think 100 Thieves will beat EG E6 3-0 on both counts, and then I think they'll beat Red 3-1. I think 100 Thieves have got a really good shot of winning this tournament, to be honest with you. I think they just keep getting better, and I think it's the same with Red. I think they are getting better as well, and they could cause some problems, but 100 Thieves really look a good team right now. That addition of Priester is really helping them out. So that's a breakdown for Pool B. We're going to have C and D coming throughout the rest of the week as well, probably in the next 2 days. And then I'm going to have my full predictions of the tournament, who I think is going to win, who I think will finish in the top 4, etc. And then we're going to do a little breakdown, obviously, of the amateur side of things to see where we think some teams are going to lie. Of course, I'm going to be covering some of that over in Fort Worth as well. But we are going to have plenty of videos this week, so click that subscribe button if you have not liked the video. Leave me a comment what you think on these games. Do you think Red could actually beat 100 Thieves? Do you think EG are maybe going to do better than I'm maybe giving them credit for? Can E6 upset the odds? There's a few different things that could potentially happen in this pool if the top teams aren't on their game. But anyway, guys, we will see you for more videos this week. We'll catch you guys then. See you then.